Okay, here ready to start Kadesh. I changed the setup there significantly. Basically, you have to put everything within 4 of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that creates kind of a mess because the fields down here are not pleasant. And you can see they extend down here as well. They're kind of hard to see, but as you come closer, on the video at least, they're hard to see. And yeah, even in my light, it's tough. Anyway, they serve. Wow, there's also this green. Oh, that's terrain. There's kind of a hilltop there. Kind of blends in there. But they serve as a problem for the Chariots, where the Chariots have a chance of overturning in the tilled fields. The roads negate this, but it's tough to get onto the roads, and if I have to slide onto here and then turn to move, as I do from this direction, it's going to be painful to cope with, and I'm going to have to make some rolls at any high speed. Chances are I'm not going to be going too fast as I push through here. Hittites are going to be triggering their reserves with the momentum counters. There's no question. The reason that there's no question is because everybody's outside of the range of the Hittite commander. He's only got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hex range. He can't use the momentums on his attacking force. They're sort of out of command, I think, here. For the Egyptians, well, I want to point out that this is, and I haven't set the route levels. I'll get to them in a moment. You see a lot of Egyptian units over here. This is a game which is using the game turn track, basically to pulse when Egyptian reinforcements are capable to come in. The first set can come in on turn 6, the second set on turn 21, and then comes the third set wouldn't come in at all in this scenario. But I've got kind of a, gee, maybe I want to try to fake a 2-day battle. I'm not sure. If the Egyptians are routed in the first day, or the Hittites are, and it's a significant rout, if both sides are close to the breaking point, maybe it won't count as a rout. I don't know. It depends on how much I'm enjoying myself and want to set up a set-piece battle afterwards with what's left. Then I have to kind of fake how many troops I want to have. I don't know. It's pretty unlikely, but there's some feeling for it because there aren't a lot of scenarios in here. It's not like SPQR where I have, years worth of extra material, either in terms of the expansions or in terms of C3I magazine issues that for some reason I have counters for, but no rules. But luckily I was able to find all the rules online. Yeah. So I'll set the route levels, but I can tell you them before I set them. Here we're using the meeting engagement, so it's 120 points for the Egyptians or 110 for the Hittites. But the Hittites, if they're occupying Egyptian camp hexes, you subtract 3 from their accumulated route point total. Now, I think that is a good thing for the Hittites. It's not absolutely clear which way it's supposed to fall by the wording. Subtract 3 kind of feels like I should subtract 3 from my baseline because of how I do it, but I think you're supposed to accumulate these route points as a penalty. Therefore, the subtract 3 will help them. So occupying the camp spaces where you're looting will improve the morale of your army. Temporarily, but your army may still rout if you stop looting or, if you get driven out or whatever. All right, let's get it underway. Ouch. Okay. Now, I'm at the first question. I've triggered one of these 2 divisions, and I'm charging across the river. Orderly withdrawal is not prohibited. Now, there's a slight penalty for running away from something, and I will be leaving my runner infantry up. So I think I'm going to stand and take the hit. That may be a mistake, but I could probably save the valuable chariot part of my army by simply running away and abandoning my runner infantry. I'm going to see how it works with this surprise attack going in place, though. Again, lots of options to this scenario in a lot of different ways. And right off the bat, even after we've set all those options, we're facing, do I want to take this or no? This setup for the Egyptians is more or less fixed, however. They don't have a lot of option here. And shift units around a little bit, but the chariots have to be to the left in 2 ranks. The infantry likewise to the right in 2 ranks. Well, the first wave of the Hittite attack struck. I'm doing 2 divisions. The first one slammed in. You can see there's some engaged markers where they didn't destroy the enemy. There's some places where they broke through, up here, but other places where they were broken, either from breaking through, as they did on the sides here, and then getting shot at the end, or right here where face up they got defeated right in place. In terms of losses, the Hittites took the worst of the permanent loss value. We'll look at the numbers for that in a moment. There are a lot of routed Egyptian units. No routed Hittites stayed on the field. They all fled. Nothing to do with the rolls, just bad die rolls. And they got quite a few bad die rolls. It seemed like every roll for an attack was under 5, and significant number of morale rolls obviously failed pretty badly to see this. We've got 17 points for the Hittites here coming off. 10 and 7 puts them to 93. Whereas the Egyptians lost very minor points here. Only 7. Although, if those camps aren't able to activate and do something, there's a serious problem in play. So perhaps I had to cheat a little bit. I picked a different counter for the Hittite second realm, mainly because I started moving them instead of the wing I intended to move. But actually this one ended up much to the advantage because it was able to swing around the rear of the formation. You can see they smashed all the infantry except for the one runner. And destroyed that, knocked out a chariot as well, and they've really kind of put the squeeze on that lead Egyptian unit. Still, casualties are light. I screwed up. One of these guys ended up, he was supposed to have routed. He pushed into some archers, and I didn't catch him last time. But all we got was one little archer for our buddies, the Egyptians, and they're at 4 for that. So they're down to 109. Which, I don't know. I mean, they're certainly taking some losses. And once this is cleared out of the way, this becomes the big target and very valuable. And we'll see whether the Hittites can push through to there. These guys don't get the doubled movement allowance. So there's a good chance that the Egyptians are going to be able to fling something in the way there. If you have really sharp eyes, you may have noticed something. Down here there were a couple of shock, no-check TQ type markers sitting around on a couple of the Hittite units. Those I forgot, but they were actually part of this 4th division, or no, sorry, the 6th division. Back here, these blue guys as opposed to the brown guys I was moving, that shouldn't have moved anyway. So when the 6th division moved, I took care of those attacks here, and I got to see the aggressive reaction in action. I think it worked out poorly because I forgot to do it at first and then re-rolled it with the aggression reaction. A CH3 attacking a runner in this case, and it may not always, I mean obviously the barbarians probably are better. CH3 attacking a runner hits on the 5 table, whereas a runner hitting a CH3 hits on the 4 table, which means both sides are bad at attacking. I should have let the chariot hit me. I had to make a tactical quality check to see if I did counterattack, but it's a tough thing. There's some advantage to the attack, though. you win ties, for example. But on the first roll, it went 3-2 against the Chariot. And then on the second roll, it went 3-2 against the runner, which was enough to break the runner. Whereas the other way, it hadn't been. It wasn't enough to break either. It would have been engaged. We also have... Oh, geez. Yeah, this guy over here broke through, breaking up that engagement. Now, order-wise, we had this order. A momentum came up, which is putting Hittite Division 2 into play. Basically, my choice here is, do I want to bring the infantry in or the chariots? Well, the historical battle seems to indicate the infantry didn't make it into the battle for the Hittites. So I want to bring as much as possible to the field as historically as possible in something like this. The Egyptian momentum came up. They didn't get their die roll. Then they got the Pharaoh division, which means everything over here got unstacked in the Pharaoh's division. Now, there's a lot of routed stuff around, too. But that's all he's allowed to do. And then the Hittite Division 6, which slammed in behind, made a couple of hits over here. I had to make sure I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just want to make sure I keep everything in command. I would have moved the leader otherwise. Alright, so we draw another check. And we get the Egyptian Division 1, which again is just going to be an unstacking, but I have to do that. Okay, and here at the end of the turn, as I get in the light's way to make things somewhat visible, much of that routed Egyptian force has been rallied. That was done on Division 2's move, which was used to pull away. Now, these engaged units over here aren't allowed to attack because they're Chariot 2s. They're facing Chariot 3s, 3-man chariots versus 2-man chariots. So, according to the chart, they're actually just not allowed to attack, but it doesn't say anything that it removes them from being engaged. Now, makes sense. I could have done a disengage action, but that would have left these guys sitting on the front. That seemed like a way to basically lose all my chariots instead of half of them. So pulling away, at least these guys are kind of screening the situation. Also bringing up the remainder of the forces, and there was a rally that was successful for the one unit that routed. Now I just do some bookkeeping, push the turn marker track like in most games, but not in most great battles of history, forward a space, and, reseed the cup after I check initiative, and whoever wins initiative is going to get their choice of counter to pick. I'm going to load this one up.